Hello, welcome back to our outdoor cooking series. I'm Creenna Bocksnick, your state 4-H camping coordinator. We are cooking another meal tonight. We are going to move into something maybe a little more complicated, but not too bad. We're going to make lasagna and then some garlic rolls. So if you'll come over here and join me, we'll get this lasagna put together and get it started cooking. So I already browned my meat at home, mixed it with some spaghetti sauce, mixed it up in this bucket so it was ready to go. You can always brown your meat once you get to your campsite. That's just one of the things I like to do ahead of time. That way I'm not having to worry about raw meat quite so much. So I'm gonna layer this up just like you would lasagna in the oven. So I'm gonna put some meat sauce down here on the bottom, and you can use your own lasagna recipe. This one is just real simple. And then we're gonna add our noodles. Remember, you may have to break them so that they'll fit, just like you would at home. I'm gonna set that to this corner. And I did not pre-cook the noodles. They will cook as this lasagna cooks. I'm using cottage cheese. Jesse does not like ricotta, so you can modify your lasagna however you would like. I know some people do kind of a cheese egg mixture. You just cook it however you prefer. For you that don't know me, I like cheese, so I tend to go a little bit cheese happy. Gonna add some more meat sauce. And don't forget, when you're cooking outside, keep all of your food safety considerations in mind. Part of the reason I like to pre-cook some of my meat, that way I'm not having to worry about raw meat in the backcountry. I'm using a 10-inch Dutch oven for this tonight. If you need more, you can use a larger Dutch oven. Or if you need less, just use a smaller Dutch oven. The process will all be the same, regardless of what size Dutch oven you're cooking in. I'm gonna use up the last little bit of my meat sauce just to give some moisture to that top layer of noodles. So I am not gonna put a layer of cheese on top here. I'm gonna wait until it's almost done cooking, and then I'll add it to the top at the very end and let it melt on there. That way my cheese sauce or cheese is not melting to the lid of my Dutch oven, because this is going to be a pretty tight fit, but it will cook down as it goes. So we're going to take this over to the fire, and we're going to get some coals out. Remember, about twice as much on top as you have on bottom. And I'm bringing this kind of away from the fire, that way it's not getting overly hot on one side or the other, and I'm controlling it more from the top and bottom and not having to worry about the sides quite as much. Set my Dutch oven on there, and I'm going to add coals to the top. So we're gonna keep an eye on this. I'm gonna check on it periodically. I'm gonna turn the pot and I'm also gonna turn the lid. All right, we're gonna take a peek at this lasagna and see how it's doing. It's been roughly 30 minutes. I've checked on it once or twice just to kind of take a look. It's been bubbling good. So I'm gonna put this lid back on. I'm gonna give the lid a half turn. And then I'm gonna give the pot a half a turn just to kind of spread that heat out evenly. I haven't been as concerned with the lasagna just because it's got that meat as a buffer versus a bread down there on the bottom. But we'll keep an eye on this and then we'll get to cooking on our garlic bread. All right, we're ready to get started on our garlic bread. I preheated my Dutch oven, melted about 3 tablespoons of butter in here. For those of you that have been joining our virtual camp sessions, I use butter that we made during one of those sessions. We are going to add about a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. Roughly 2 cloves of garlic. I just had some minced garlic in the fridge, so that's what I'm using. I do not recommend using glass containers when you're camping in the wilderness because you don't want to risk that glass breaking and leaving shards out there. So if you have some stuff that comes in a glass container, look for an alternative or pack it in some other kind of container. And then I need 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. All right, we're gonna stir that up. All right, our next step is I've got these canned buttermilk biscuits. You can use whatever kind of biscuit, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop these open, cut them into quarters, and then I'm gonna put them in my Dutch oven. All right, so we're almost done putting the biscuits together. I've got my last one here cut into 4ths. I'm just kind of making them into balls, dropping them in my Dutch oven, because I'm gonna stir them up with that butter, cheese, garlic concoction we had. So I'm just gonna mix it together really well. That way there's garlic and cheese and butter kind of evenly distributed the best you can. They already smell good and they're not even cooked. I'm just gonna kind of spread them out in this Dutch oven. They will end up cooking together just a little bit, not a big deal. We'll pull them apart when we get ready to eat them. All right, so I'm gonna pop the lid on here. And we're gonna take it over the fire and get it started just like we did the lasagna. We're getting ready to check on the lasagna and make our last check, and we'll add the cheese. But first, we are gonna make the scariest part of cooking on a campfire is dumping the coals off of the lid and not getting them in whatever it is you're cooking. So that's why I really like this type of lid lifter. Grab a hold. Don't forget to wiggle it to make sure you don't get any. I'm gonna pick it up, and because of the way the smoke is blowing on our fire tonight, I'm gonna come around here very gently, shake them off. I'm gonna hang it on my table, that way it has a chance to cool off before I handle it again. I'm gonna take my cheese, just gonna sprinkle it around on top, that way it can melt in there. Alright, I'm gonna let that melt. Alright, we're gonna check on this garlic bread. I had to get a little creative with my coals. I wasn't really getting good coals out of the wood that I had tonight, so I've got it in the fire a little more than I would like to. I've got some chunks on top, so I'm really having to watch it and make sure it doesn't get too hot. I'm gonna pull it out here just a little bit so we can see what's going on. They look like they're coming along nicely. We're gonna add some heat back on top. The bottom's been pretty hot. That way they'll finish browning on top, and then we will come back in a bit. All right, we're gonna make one last check on these garlic rolls. Let's take a look and see how they're doing. I think they're pretty much done. Yeah, I think we're good. We'll get this plated up.
I'm Jesse Bocksnick, your Arkansas 4-H Outdoor Skills Instructor. And as is our tradition, it's time for me to step out behind the camera and handle the hardest part of Cooking with the Campfire series. For more information on outdoor cooking or outdoor skills, stay tuned to the Arkansas 4-H social media channels. Thank you.